Welcome back. We are here for our Spider-Man limited set review. Today we are going to be doing all of the blue cards. We already did the white ones. Go check that out if you missed it. How you doing, Yanks?
I'm looking forward to maybe seeing like Spider-Man Italy, Spider-Man Germany, something like that in this set.
Why are they blue?
I don't know. I just picked why I picked two countries that have no blue in their flag. I don't know. I should at least pick like France.
Fair, fair. All right. It's also your favorite color. So let's jump in with
Yep.
Amazing Acrobatics, 3 mana. Choose one or both. Counter target spell or tap one or two target creatures. What the power creep?
Cancel plus.
So cancel's just dead now. We just don't need
The
cancel anymore. It's just
cancel has been canceled.
yeah, we don't need that anymore. Yeah, that's totally fair, totally cool. The art's sweet. I don't tend to love cards like cancel and limited, so take that with a grain of salt. But I like that you can tap down creatures without needing there to be a spell on the stack, which is cool. A little bit of flexibility if you're going to die or want to swing for lethal. You can play this on their end step, tap down their blockers. So I think that flexibility makes it a lot nicer. I'm going to say this is like a 6. I think I would play
I
one of
think so
these.
too. This really is like exactly power crept Urza's rebuff, as Red Shirt Down is pointing out. That had the exact same text, except you could only pick one.
Ah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, double power crept cancel, I guess. Yeah, these like cancel effects always are like the archetype of the perfect archetype of the card that is way better in sealed than in draft, because sealed ends up being so much slower that this is good. Then we said the modality with getting both, one or both. Yeah, I like it a little better than usual. I like it like a 6.
All right, next up, we've got Beetle Legacy Criminal. 4 mana for a 3/3 with flying. It is a villain. I don't think we saw any white villains. Oh, though we did. I don't know if it was a villain or not, but there was a symbiote. Was the symbiote a
Yeah,
hero or a villain?
it was a hero.
Hero, okay. We have a 3/3 flyer. Pay 2, exile this card from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains flying until end of turn. Activate as a sorcery. Oh, okay. So Tarkir is back.
Yes, the card's fine.
3/3
Uh,
flyer
it
for
is,
4 with which then gives something else flying in a +1/+1 counter, but just flying for 1 turn.
I'm not excited, but it's just a common, even though it's a legend.
Yeah, that's fine. I think this is a playable card. I think the 4-drop slot is looking very chunky from what we saw in white.
Agreed.
So I'm gonna say this is just a 5.
I like it as a 5 as well.
All right, next up we've got a Voldemort for 4.
Turtle.
Our minds went very different places.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, it did.
a 2/3 for 4 mana. You may have it enter as a copy of a creature you control, except its name is still the Chameleon. And it has Mayhem 3. You may cast this card from your graveyard for 3. If you discarded it this turn, timing rules still apply. So
This
it's
is our
like
other new mechanic.
madness,
It's like Madness
but you
with
pay
the big exception of and they put it in the remind text for the timing rules still apply, because they did not for Madness. You could
yeah.
play anything at any speed with Madness. You cannot in Mayhem.
That's kind of cool. That's a neat mechanic. And I don't hate like the cost for what you're getting anyway. It's a overstated 2/3 if you're desperate, but you can just have it be a better creature when it's relevant. Um, and then the madness mayhem option is cool.
Yeah, you need to have a method to discard. Um,
Yeah,
or I guess I would say have your opponents make you discard, but they're probably doing it on their turn, so you can't cast it then.
yeah. I mean, I can't imagine the mayhem is going to be super relevant, but like, obviously we have to get to Demir as a whole, because there are like blood type tokens as well. Like, obviously, I don't think we're going to see blood, but there are things that make this a feasible thing. It's just how
But
supported is it
what?
going to be? I'm going to assume
So
it's not.
the one other returning mechanic that we haven't seen yet, but we will see in a few cards in blue that is relevant here is Connive is back.
Oh, how back? Like,
It's one of their named, you know, in their article, like 4 or 5
okay,
mechanics along with
so
modified.
connive is just the Demir archetype probably. So this is just
I would
a
imagine.
good option. Yeah. Okay. If connive sort of we assumed that modified creatures is a thing, and so we rated all those creatures accordingly. So I'm going to assume we can discard this with some regularity, without it being a perfect synergistic deck, which makes me think this is like a 6.
I think so. The mayhem, you're only getting 1 mana discount. It's just really the fact that you're getting a free discard
Yeah,
for
so
whatever effect.
I think that's the discount is not the thing that is relevant to me. If you're looting or something and you get to do this, then that's where the value is.
Agreed. Yeah, it turns your lootings into draw ones. It
Yep.
turns whatever other effects you have for discards into free.
Next up, the Clone Saga. For 4 mana, you can get a saga that you can. I was going to say you can pay 1. You get 3 chapters. First one, you get to surveil. The next one, when the next time you cast a creature spell this turn, copy it. Except the copy isn't legendary, and you can also choose a card name. Goodness, sorry. I'm more tired than I thought. I had to wake up very early for a doctor's appointment today. Woke up at 8 a.m., which is not a nerd girl approved time. Whenever a creature with the chosen name deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card. That's neat. I like that. The setup is nice. It's awfully slow, but getting the second creature sort of mitigates its cost, and then you can potentially draw those cards back. I think this is a fine card. It takes a lot of setup, so I don't think it's going to be as consistently powerful as you would like it to be highly rated, but I think it's playable.
I think so too. As long as you can set this up, which it does a good job of helping you with the Surveil 3 to try to find something, a good 4 mana creature or 5 mana creature the next turn to copy.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little slow, right? Do nothing on turn 4 is pretty rough. And evasive creatures are going to be hard to come by with all of the reach as well. So, like, you're not going to lock in the card draw. I think the floor on this is pretty low, and I think the ceiling on this is pretty high. And I don't think you're going to get to the ceiling very often. So, I'm going to say it's like a 5.
A little higher. I like it as a 6. I mean, I think you've got a lot of. Thank God, by the way, it says the copy isn't legendary because otherwise that would eliminate that would eliminate half of your options in this set.
Yep, that's true.
I think there's probably I'm betting on the fact that there'll be enough good ETBs that you want to double, and that you can between what's in your hand, the potentially the top 4 cards of your deck, you'll be able to hit something you want to play the next turn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of assuming you'll just. I'm not worried about finding stuff to play because if you play this on 4, you probably have a 4, 5, even 6 drop if you just play this a turn later. Like, you're gonna have a top end, so I'm not super worried about finding something either. I just don't like it itself is a 4-costed rare, so like the creature has to be bigger than that for you to get any sort of edge on your CMC. But like the surveil is worth it.
Yeah, the surveil's some value, and the last part could recoup the card. But I agree, it definitely has a wide variance.
Yeah, I think you're probably right that the average play is closer to 6, but
I will say if you are playing this on turn 4, that's probably not a good sign. Like you would probably want to be playing this on like turn 7 or turn 8, like double spelling, because you don't it is slow. You don't want to take your turn 4 off.
Yeah, I mean, I think some formats can support it if you're on the play. It could be, but I agree.
Yeah.
I think I would want a fair amount of like bounce or removal to try to get use of the chapter 3 before I was thrilled about this. But it's fine.
I think that's fair.
I'm certainly never cutting it. So, Doc Ock, Sinister Scientist, 5 mana for a 4/5 villain. As long as there are 8 or more cards in your graveyard, Doc Ock has base power and toughness 8/8. As long as you control another villain, he has hexproof. Interesting.
I don't recall the from a flavor perspective, that second ability, like I don't recall Doc Ock particularly teaming up with other villains. But I could be wrong. That could also be in comics that I don't know, or I'm just thinking of the movies.
Well, into the Spideyverse, they are teaming up with another villain, right?
Oh, is it? Yeah, I don't remember that well. I'm thinking more of some of the earlier movies.
Chat is
Okay, yeah, I
saying
mean
it's
people
Sinister
are pointing out that I'm
Six.
wrong, so that's fair.
Uh, also, I'm wrong. It does happen in Into the Spideyverse. I think it's just the second one, right?
Okay.
No, it's not the second one. It's the first one. Never mind. It is the first one. They break into the lab, and that's when the guy teaches him to web sling and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We didn't give this card a rating. We were too busy thinking about the story.
Yep. That's fine. Still, like, it's weird that it's got a whole giant mass of text, but it's mostly just vanilla. It's just power and toughness.
Yeah, 8 cards is a lot. Like when you have cards that need threshold, the amount of times not having it wrecks you is so high. So, yeah, I mean, you have to have another villain, which I don't think will be too hard. And hexproof is cool, but they could just kill it, and then this is a problem. You can't attack with that other villain, otherwise this loses hexproof, which is a problem. I don't care as much about them removing it because then this didn't get touched. But again, it's only a 4/5 for 5. I don't think I care. I don't love this. I think I like that if the board stall happens, it gets better. I'm willing to give it a little bit of a bump for that. But I'm going to... Oh, there's a discard mechanic, though. Connive.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes this more often an 8/8 than we expect.
It could be. I don't know. I'm thinking it like I want to say a 4/5 just for toughness, but it's definitely better than that.
Yeah. Realistically, it's probably like vanilla in most archetypes that isn't what I assume Demir, which is probably the connive colors. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it's like a 5. It's probably
Five
filler minus.
That was fair. I also think I remember when this card got spoiled, I remember hearing that people were talking about how when it's an 8/8, I could be wrong, this is just from memory, that this would be the most powerful human in Magic.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, but I think isn't there a rare or mythic Doc Ock? I think that was just
There
an
might
8/8.
be.
I don't think
Maybe,
it's
yeah,
I
it
don't
would be
think
the
it's
same
this.
idea.
Yeah, I think there
Uh,
is an
the
8/8 Doc Ock.
the Mythic is a 4/8.
Huh. Because I remember hearing the same thing, but I thought it was a base 8/8.
It could also be like a commander card, too, that
That's true.
they're talking about that's not in this set. The main set.
Doc Ock's Henchman, we've got a 3 mana 2/1 with Flash. When this creature attacks, it connives. So it just does the thing. I like that it has Flash, so you're a little bit more likely to get to attack with it because they leave the defenses down, but it feels pretty underwhelming to me. If I'm not in the conniving business, I don't know that I like paying the extra mana for what will attack as potentially a 3/1.
Or 3/2.
Yeah, 3/2. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw a 2 mana 2/2 Flash with an ETB availability in white, which I'm
Yeah.
much happier with. Granted, that was uncommon versus common, but
Yeah, I think the average deck is not going to care as much for this. I think it's too understated for what you're getting. Now there's a connive deck I think that will love this. So it's probably a little bit more of a split rating, which we don't usually mess with for commons. So let's say 4.5.
4.5 sounds right.
Flying Octobot, 2 mana for a 1/1 flyer. When another villain you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Its ability triggers once each turn. I think this is excellent.
Yeah,
it looks like there's a blue villain archetype. I'm interested to see what the pairing is. I'm assuming Demir. Maybe is it?
That would make sense. I mean, 5 of our first 7 blue cards are villains.
Yeah. So That also makes the card that needs another villain in play pretty fine. The
Yeah,
Doc Ock himself.
and all 5 of those are commons and uncommons too. They're not
Yeah.
rares. So
So I think this card's really good. Even if you get one, or if you can reliably get one trigger on this, I'm very happy. I don't think how many villains do you need to run this? I think the answer is not very many.
no,
I think the answer is like 4 total
say
villains.
yeah, 4 or 5, especially if you have
It's doing something else for your other villains.
Exactly. Yep. So you don't have to have this one first.
Yeah, and then so we don't get a counter, but this makes Doc Ock hexproof. Cool.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think this card's cool. I don't think I'm ever gonna cut it. So artifact could be a thing.
It's like a 6.
I'm on board for a 6. I was thinking about it. It doesn't necessarily seem high powered enough to be a 6, but with the villain archetype, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt.
It might also be just because we've looked at white and blue, which don't always have the largest creatures, but things have mostly been pretty small too so far.
Yeah. Hide the ceiling. Hide on the ceiling. X blue. Exile X target artifacts and or creatures. Return them to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Huh. It doesn't need to be that you control. So you could use this to brick their attackers. You could brick all of their blockers, activating this on end step.
You got a number of things you can do with this. The 2 you just said, you can blink your own stuff for ETBs. Stuff. You can do some of each.
Save removal, anti-removal tech. This is incredibly flexible. I feel like this can win some games for sure. Like the worst case scenario is that it's a 1-for-1 for premium removal. And then the best case scenario is it's killing someone, by saying you have no blockers. For the low cost of 4 mana, get rid of all your blockers.
Yeah. No, I think this is great.
An 8?
I think it's an 8. Just I'd say the one thing because I could just picture somebody doing this is you try to use it to clear out all their blockers, but you also want to re-trigger your ETB. Well, remember, you're not going to be able to attack with that guy that turn because it's also not coming back to the next end step.
Yeah. Hydroman's Fluid Felon. 2 mana for a 2/2. Whenever you cast a blue spell, if Hydroman is a creature, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, untap Hydroman until your next turn. He becomes a land and gains tap.
He's a Hydroman. He flips from being a creature to an island.
But when does he switch back into a creature?
It says until your next turn, he becomes a land.
Oh. At the beginning. Until your next turn. Okay. I skipped that part. I read at the beginning of your next, and untap him, he becomes a land. I was like, wait, what? Okay.
So it's interesting that I guess it's the right way to do this, but it's a triggered ability to turn him into a land, and it just happens to turn him back into a creature on your untap step.
I mean, it seems okay. I like the ramp. I like the creature rate. He's going to get bigger over time. It does suck a little bit that you can't control when you cast the extra things with a land, he's not getting the benefit, which is a little counterintuitive, but I think that's fine. I don't think we're ever cutting this out of a blue deck, so 6.
I think so. This will definitely be significantly better the more instants you have that you want to play on their turn. Whether it be counter spells, card draw, burn, whatever, to have that. Because you'll always have that blue on their turn.
Yeah. Oh, wait. At the beginning of your end step, untap him until your next turn. Oh, so he's a creature on all of your turns.
Yeah.
Oh, I was reading it like in every other situation.
No.
Oh, it's better than a 6. Oh, this is way better than a 6. Ignore everything I said. I take it all back. 7.5.
I don't know if it's quite that high.
Well, because
it's only
It also bricks every sorcery speed removal. It ramps you without slowing down your board, and you get to still be aggressive. You get to attack and have untapped mana. I think this is incredibly powerful. Also, what am I even talking about? There's no such thing as sorcery speed removal anymore.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean? Like, hypothetically.
And it's only +1/+1. It's not counters.
Oh, I also forgot that. This is my last color. I'm tired. I thought I was gonna try to do way more today, but whew, I've been up for too many hours. Okay. I thought they were +1/+1 counters. I thought it was every other turn, and then it wasn't. I just can't read anymore at all. So ignore everything I've said. I'm going to go back to a 6.
That's what I think.
Okay, never mind. That was a wild ride we just went on. Imposter syndrome. I have a little bit of that sometimes. 6 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't a legendary.
I do like that they got to use the meme pointing at each other art as a card.
Yeah, same. Oh, damn it. Sorry, chat. I'm awful. Terrible streamer. Should have had a second coffee. Third coffee. Should have had third coffee. These big enchantments are oftentimes way too slow for limited. You play and you're far behind. You did nothing. And now, because you spent 6 mana to do nothing, it's far less likely that you can get a creature in.
Agree.
But if you do, it's pretty busted.
I think these cards are generally just a trap.
I mean, I'm sometimes into being trapped, though. So, there is that. It can win the game. I'm going to lose this card a lot, and I'm going to be really sad. And it's going to hit the board and do nothing a lot.
What's really nice is we have to see if we get to when we get to black. But if there's cheap death touchers, that's the sort of thing that's good with this.
Yeah, that's true.
They can't just let it through like they might otherwise. Oh, okay, I'll take one. Well, you can't really do that because now you got more of them to deal with.
Also, like in Bloomburrow, there was that little 1/1 unblockable. Things like that could be pretty cool. Nerd girl, you can't just say things like that. I don't know what I said. Was it dirty? It's usually dirty.
I didn't pick up on it if it was.
This is an incredibly difficult card to rate. I do agree. I think it is a trap, but it also is a bomb. Like it can end games in the right situation. I think the important factor is that in those situations you were probably winning anyway, right? Because you're getting in with a creature that they cannot stop, and then it's sort of getting more and more problematic for them. So I don't like this card. I think I'm just gonna say it's a 2.
I treat this very similar to the 5 white card we saw. Now it's obviously easier to cast than that, but it's a late game card that if you can manage to resolve when you're in a decent spot, you're probably going to win. But you've got to be in that decent spot to begin with.
Yeah, and you could just have a strong creature or removal spell, and then you're just going to solidify that win more, right? If you are already in a position where a creature is getting in, then I think another creature or removal spell locks that in the same way that this does, albeit just less flashy.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where you would be just as happy with the Colossal Dreadmaw for 6 mana.
But there's going to be a ton of games where this would not win you the game. You're going to lose anyway, and you would much rather have that creature removal spell. So I'm in for a 2.
I think I have it as a 3, but we're in the same, probably not playing this ballpark.
Lady Octopus Inspired Inventor. 1 mana for an 0/2. Whenever you draw your first or second card each turn, put an Ingenuity counter on the lady, and you can tap it, cast an artifact spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the number of Ingenuity counters on Lady Octopus without paying its mana cost. I'm going to go on a limb and say that there's not enough artifacts for this to be relevant.
I mean, since in recent times, right, we're starting to see more colored artifacts, but we only saw two
One
in
in
white.
white, one
There were
maybe
two.
two.
There was the one equipment and then the one like closet that moved counters around.
Ah, yeah.
And there's only one in blue. So
And this is a pretty small set, so there's
and
not
it's
going
a
to be a
small
ton.
set. There's a handful of just straight up artifacts. There's actually a little more than usual. There's 18, but a lot of those aren't going to be that good because they usually aren't. So yeah, I'm pretty unimpressed with this.
And I'm going to give it a 2.
Agreed.
2 is the place where I say that, like, this is a fun card that you will build around. I don't want to say it's completely unplayable and not a thing you ever want to be doing in limited, because there's a deck that maybe you want to be doing that, but it's certainly not the average limited deck.
Yep.
Madam Web. 6 mana for a 4/4. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast spider spells and non-creature spells from the top of your library. Whenever you attack, you may mill a card. Doesn't say you have to attack with this creature, which is kind of cool. I like card advantage. Casting, even if you don't have a lot of spiders, being able to cast the non-creature spells off the top just kind of gives you that card advantage. It's expensive, but I don't mind it on the top end.
I mean, you got to figure, even if you have no spiders, which seems probably unlikely, you're still looking at like a quarter of your remaining deck once you take out the 6 lands in this card that you have to have in play. Like, you're probably looking at 8 or 9 out of the remaining 33.
Yeah.
So, and just knowing your top card is also useful.
Yeah.
That said, it is very understated.
Or being able to mill it, right? Like, there's a reasonable chance you're like, oh, I just don't need this 5th island or whatever, and you can just get rid of it. And then that is just, in my head, card advantage. It's card selection, because you're not actually getting more pieces of cardboard, but you effectively are, because you're getting more pieces of cardboard that you can use as opposed to ones that are just bricks. So I consider that a card advantage situation.
I think a lot of times, like some high level players will talk about like Scry 2 being equal to draw card or Surveil 2, and it's even more so when you can see the top card and know whether or not you want to get rid of it before you even have to commit to the spell.
That's true, because you could be like, oh, Surveil 2 is like draw a card, but it's really not that time if you didn't put any to the bottom.
Exactly.
If you're like, cool, keep them as they were, then you didn't effectively do that. But if you're like, put it to the bottom, then it was. So yeah.
Surveil and Scry are both funny that way, because like if I'm playing against somebody and they surveil and leave it on top, it's like, great, they got something good. And if you're surveilling, you're like, oh, I got no value out of that surveil.
Yeah. Rating wise, it is expensive. So I don't think it's amazing, or I don't think I will never not cut this card. So I'm going to say it's a 6.
6 seems right to me.
It's a 6 that I will cut sometimes.
Yep.
Mysterio, Master of Illusion, 4 mana for a 3/3. When he enters, create a 3/3 blue illusion creature token for each non-token villain you control. Exile those tokens when Mysterio leaves the battlefield. That seems strong.
Yeah, given the other, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, other 7 villains we've already seen in blue.
And I have to assume there's another color that pairs with this that gives you a whole nother slew of villains. I assume black, but we'll find out.
Yeah, it looks like that. Yep.
It seems like even if you're not in Dimir, I would say this is still good. And if you're in Dimir, it's a home run. I think the average deck is still going to run this. Because your blue will be able to support some amount of villains to make this worth it. So I think it's got a very high ceiling and a very fine floor. So I'm going to rate it smack dab in the middle and say it's a 7. Obviously, there's going to be some decks, like if you're a Zorius with 1 villain, okay, we're not interested. That's totally fine. But I think if you are looking at this card, then we're likely interested. So I'm going to say a 7.
I like it at a 7. Just looking at the mono white is the only place where there are no villains, and there are 49 villains in the set.
Jeez, yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, this is going to be very good for basically any average deck, I think.
Yep.
Mysterio's Phantom. Someone said it counts itself.
Yeah, for each non-token. Yeah.
I, in my head, filled in the other word in there for some reason. I just assumed.
Usually is.
Yeah. So that makes the floor just even better. 4 mana for 2/3/3s. Sign me up. Mysterio's Phantom, 2 mana for a 1/3 with flying and vigilance. Whenever this creature attacks, mill a card. I don't like it. Players are not okay enough with milling themselves because it's typically not a problem. I don't like when you don't have a choice. Like, you get those scrappy games where your 1/1 flyer is going to go coast to coast if they can't stop it. You get to top deck mode, they killed your 4/4 with their big removal spell. Now they just need to find an answer for this. I don't like that I can't continue to swing sometimes.
Yeah, there just doesn't really seem to be much support for mill. I mean, you had the one card with Doc Ock that cares about cards in your graveyard, but we haven't seen anything else. And I'm not looking through the rest of blue at least. Now maybe there's some more in black, but I'm not seeing anything in blue. Mayhem specifically goes out of its way to make sure it doesn't care about that. It's only if you discarded it that turn.
Yeah. I was actually thinking the same thing, that would be a pretty cool mechanic if it was like, if this hits your graveyard from anything other than the battlefield.
Yep.
Then I think then this becomes slightly more interesting. But it's still a fine card. A 2 mana, 1/3 flyer with vigilance. We're not cutting it. I just, I'm going to be really sad when this is on, like, just big booty block duty, and I can't attack with my vigilant flyer because I don't want to, like, you're at 17 and I'm down to 15 cards in my deck and I'm starting to get a little concerned.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't like the chip damage is not worth the squeeze in some of the cases, and I think that makes me nervous.
Yeah. Unless we find some sort of like reanimator theme in black or some other good reason to be playing that, I'm not as excited.
Someone in the chat says, outside of a few cards, I'm not excited for this set. I think that's true for myself and Yanks as well. I'm a medium enjoyer of Spider-Man, medium plus. I think Spider-Man Into the Spideyverse and the sequel were some of my favorite movies from the last few years, so I think this is gonna be pretty cool. But overall, yeah, I'm pretty just medium on it. I'd rather go back to Bloomborough, personally. I like my high fantasy.
If every set was in Bloomborough.
I mean, I really digged Final Fantasy, and I'm really excited for Avatar. True. So I am I'm not a UB girly, but I'm also not a UB girly, because two of my 3 favorite IPs are going to be in the game this year, and I'm over the moon. I had a blast with Final Fantasy, and I'm really, really looking forward to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh, speaking of, look what came today. The green screen's going to fuck with it, but I got my final card.
Oh, nice.
I have all of the Yuna summons.
Nice.
Collection complete. Oh, yeah. Anyway, do we like this card? I think it's a 5.5.
Like a 5. Yeah, 5. 5.5 is fine. It's in that area.
Norman Osborn. 2 mana for a 1/1. It can't be blocked. Ooh. Wasn't there something that cared about this? Draw a card when things can't be blocked or whatever?
We were talking about the imposter syndrome, right? Like, things you can copy whenever it deals combat damage, the 6 mana thing.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, he connives. And you can also transform him, but I assume you could just straight up cast him for the Green Goblin. 1 and...
-8.
Grixis.
There we go.
Thank you. My head, I don't know why, but my head just went to Maestros.
It was the Maestros.
I know, and that's why I was like, that's the wrong one. What's the other one? And then my brain was like in a fuzz. Today is not my best work. I'm so sorry. I promise I'm going to go get a good night's sleep. When we come back with black, it'll be better. Legendary Villain 3/3, Flying and Menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and for each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. the mayhem cost is equal to the mana cost. I'm confused.
So basically,
Oh,
even
wait.
cards that don't have mayhem, if you discard them that turn, you can play them for
Yeah, so you still have to
their mana cost.
discard them. The
Yes.
cards in your graveyard currently, when this is flipped, is not relevant. It is the cards that then will go into your graveyard. They also have it.
Yeah, unless they happen to get into the graveyard that turn already, discarded somehow before you
Yeah,
played it.
but I just meant
But
like
yes,
when I read this, I was like, why would you like? They're not like flashback. You can't do it to the cards that are already there. It is a thing that you are going to then build upon.
yeah, it's just a weird rules thing, right? They do all still get the mayhem ability, but the mayhem ability then specifies that you can only do it if it was discarded that turn.
Yeah.
And then they cost 2 less to cast because of the earlier ability on this card.
Yes. I
Yeah, I think this
like
card
I
fine.
like that it is an enabler for all of the cards. So here's the problem. If you build a cool discard deck, but you don't draw your mayhem cards, then you get a little bit wonky.
Yep.
So I love that this then lets you continue to discard and gain value from the cards that don't have mayhem. So I think that's really cool. It feels like a build around. I don't think the average deck is going to be thrilled. I do like a 1/1 that's unblockable, and whenever it deals combat damage to connives. I actually think I like the front side of this more for the average deck.
You do get like a little bit of value, right? Where you could attack with this, deal combat damage, connive, discard something, and then flip it.
Flip it for
And then
4, and then you can cast something feasibly for
for
like
for
a
2
4 drop.
less.
Like a 4
Yeah.
drop because it would cost 2, so it's 6 mana.
Yeah. So like you can get a little bit of synergy kind of with itself that way, but it's expensive for sure.
Yeah. So you get 1 free discard of a 4 drop basically.
Yeah, at the cost of adding basically 2 to its mana cost. A net 2 with colors, of course, involved.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I do like just straight up like the front side. I would rate this very highly anyway. So I think I'm gonna kind of go on that. And then if you get to do anything with the backside, cool. That's a bonus. But I don't know that I care. I will say you can connive a bunch, get +1/+1 counters on it. And then you can flip it and then it's just a flyer. So it doesn't really matter if you're done
Sure.
conniving, if you don't want to discard and draw anymore. If you're like running out of cards, you have sort of an escape outlet there, which is cool. Rating wise, I think the front side is excellent. I'm gonna say this is a 7.
I like this 7.
Something that connives every turn can't be blocked. I'm in for it. That's great.
Agreed.
All right, the Oscorp research team, 4 mana for a 1/5. You can pay 7, draw 2 cards. That's expensive.
Yeah, it's
And
a mana sink.
yeah, but it's a mana sink with not very exciting stats.
No, I mean if there's some sort of hard control deck in this format, like you just want a big blocker, like we haven't seen. Again, I know we haven't seen green yet, but we haven't seen anything huge really. Like this blocks literally every ground creature we've seen so far, other than a pumped up Doc Ock.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's a 4.
I agree. I think there's very specific spots where you want this card, and there aren't many of them.
Borderline playable for sure.
Yep.
Robotic Mastery, 5 mana, flash, enchant creature. When it enters, create 2 colorless robot artifact creatures with flying. Those are called Thopters. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 for 5. I don't hate it. I typically don't like auras, but because it has flash, you can kind of play it in a protected spot when you know they can't kill your creature in response. And then you make 2 Thopters, so even if they kill it on the next turn, I think that's fine.
Yeah, you're basically playing this as as expensive combat trick that also provides a couple bodies. Maybe those bodies ambush a 2/1 flyer or something.
Yeah. And there's also a world where I just like they tap out for a creature and I'm like, cool, on your end step, flash this in, and then I get to crack you for 2 in the air and a bigger creature than you expected. That's also just fine with me.
Yeah.
It's like I think it'll probably play better than I want it to. Like my expectations for these big clunky auras tend to be pretty bad, but I think it'll actually play really well with the 2 robots. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say this is like a 6.
I like it too. 6 seems pretty good. It's also interesting because I think the next card we see, like these two cards are going to work really well together for blue decks in the sense that I'm holding up 5 mana. Which of these do I have? They do
Yes.
very different things.
School Days, 5 mana, draw 3 cards, or you can fight crime, counter target spell, and draw a card. This is the kind of counter spells that I'm interested in playing. Counter your spell and draw a card, or draw heavy draw spell, and like you said, playing with other cards like the flash card. I've also seen 2 flash creatures so far in
Yep.
the format, so that's going to make instant speed spells like this way more valuable. I like this card. I don't think I'm cutting the first one of these basically ever, so I'm going to say 6.
I think so too. I think my biggest problem with this card is I pretty much think that draw 3 cards is the best 3 words in Magic. That should not be do homework. Nobody wants to do homework. But I do want to draw 3 cards. So I don't understand how it's kind of a cognitive dissonance there.
But it's not. Oh, I see what you're saying. The ability. I was like, the card doesn't say anything about homework, but you're right, it does. But if you do your homework, you've gained knowledge, and that is the act of drawing cards. That is what you get when you gain knowledge. You draw a card. I think that is correct. And there's cards called knowledge that does the same thing. So I'm in.
From a flavor perspective that way, agreed. I just don't want to do homework, but I want to draw 3 cards, so I'm struggling with that.
And that's why most of us don't get to draw cards. That's why most of us are very dumb and cannot read cards correctly, because I didn't do my homework. So
Because you were in a school days.
I was. Secret Identity, 1 mana for choose 1. You can conceal until end of turn. Target creature you control becomes a citizen with base power and toughness 1/1. Why would... Oh, and gains hexproof. Okay, there's... I stopped reading. I was like, I don't want to do this. Why do I want this?
Like, that sounds terrible.
There's 3 more words. And gains hexproof. Checks out. See, I did not do my homework. Or you could reveal until end of turn. Target creature you control becomes a hero with base power and toughness 3/4 and gains flying and vigilance until end of turn. Thank you, Red. See, Red says, Nerd Girl, do your homework. Yeah. I like the flexibility on this. 1 mana hexproof and flyer, vigilance, all of the things. Big creature, it gets around like a lightning bolt-esque removal spell. Combat trick, 1 mana, 3/3s, combat trick blocker situation. I'm in for it. I think this is a 5.
Yeah, I like the flexibility.
I like the white one a lot more. Both of these are like lower impact, but still very good.
I want to, because I was thinking along the same wavelengths, but I want to give Alan some credit there too. The art on this is great, with Arcade Post using like almost identical art to what he himself made back in Mercadian Masks for Unmasked, with the masks coming off, and it's so he kind of a shout out to his own art, on a pretty iconic card.
Nice. I didn't even recognize that.
Which is really cool. So yeah, no, I think this card's great. Yeah, it's a good point source made. This would probably be pretty good in Vivi decks.
For as long as we have him. For another month or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spider Bite Web Warden. Sure. 3 mana for a 2/2. When it enters, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. I love these sorts of bouncy creature, Man of War, Lynx tap down type effects. I love the blue tempo. When blue tempo is good, I'm happy in limited. So I'm going to say that I like it a 6.
I like the 6. I like the fact that it's not land permanent, not creature. It can be yours or your opponent's. It's just so much stronger than original Man of War, and that was always good.
Yes. Also, we're getting a raid from Kuro. Welcome, welcome. My viewers, please click the link and go show Kuro some love. We appreciate the raid, my friends. We are finishing up our blue for Spider-Man set review. Spider-Man No More. We have a 2 mana aura. Enchant creature is a citizen with base power and toughness 1/1 and has a defender and loses all abilities. This card is kind of a reprint, right? We saw something
Yeah,
similar,
in Streets of New Capenna.
and it was bad.
Yeah, it was. Those like blue cards are always like somewhat playable, but you're never happy if you have to play them as removal.
Yeah, the ones that make them like O2s and stuff tend to actually be better, but the
Yep,
amount of times that you spend a card to make their 1/1 that still ends up being relevant is bad. So
and
I'm not saying,
actually,
go ahead.
the one from Streets of New Capenna was way better because it was a single blue, and it removed all abilities.
Yeah.
Oh, this one does still remove all abilities, but it was a single mana instead of two.
And there was another time where this was also printed where I think it was just not good. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is a playable. When you're in blue, sometimes you need to scrap for removal, and this is fine, but I don't think it's good. So I'm just going to say it's a 5.
Seems about right. You play it when you have to.
Spider Sense, 2 mana. Oh my god. I'm planning on playing in an RCQ on the 4th, and you have to register your deck, and every single fucking card starts with an S, and they all start with spider specifically.
Yep.
God damn it! I just realized that this is gonna be so annoying. All right, so you can web sling it. So you can pay 1 and bounce a tapped creature to your hand to counter target instant spell, sorcery spell, or triggered ability.
Nope.
Nope. Sideboard card. I'm gonna say it's a. You can put it in your deck if you're like light on playables. You'll certainly find an instant or sorcery to counter with it, and that's okay. Sometimes you might want extra cards to web sling, like if you want to re-trigger your ETBs. I think that's cool. But yeah, I think I'm not going to be playing it in most decks. I'm going to say it's a 4. It's playable, but cut very often.
Yeah, you'll probably find a use for it if you play it, but you're not going to be excited about it.
Yeah. Unstable Experiment. We have a 2 mana instant. Target player draws a card, then up to 1 target creature you control connives. At instant speed, I think that's kind of cool. I don't think it's great, but it's a 23rd playable card. I'm probably going to give this a. I'm going to give it a 4, but I think that there is a deck that wants it with the connive and the like Doc Ock wanting 8 cards in graveyard. I think this is a Dimir card, is my guess.
The 2 mana instant speed, draw 2, discard 1, and
It's
potentially get a counter.
Yeah. Draw 2, discard 1. I think it's fine. I think it's like a 5, but I think it will play up pretty heavily in Dimir. But what if you also you have to have a creature too?
You do have to have a creature.
So
to get the second, you can just cycle it,
which is not good.
No,
right?
But at least it's not stuck in your hand.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's like a very 23rd playable card that's going to get cut a lot, and then in Dimir, I think you want more than one of these. So it is.
Yep, I think you're right. Probably Dimir or any sort of deck, which we're assuming is Dimir, that has enough mayhem.
Yeah. The other thing too is interesting is that we talk a lot here about like the average deck. And while I'm saying specifically in Dimir, I don't think it's a difficult card to build around in that if you are in Dimir, I think the average deck will be happy to have this. So I think I want to give it a little bit of a boost for that reason, if that's if that distinction makes sense. Because even though it is very specific to Dimir and not to like Azorius or to other archetypes, it is just good in any version of that deck. It doesn't need to be particularly supported. So I don't know. I think it seems good to me. I'm going to say it's a 5, but it'll be better it'll be cut very often, but not in decks that want it. That's a very obvious statement, but you know what I mean.
I think that's fine. I think 5 is about right.
All right, Whoosh, 2 mana for a instant with Kicker. For an additional 2, you can return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If the spell is kicked, you draw a card. This is Into the Royal?
Into the Royal, yep.
Hey, look at that. I know card names. Haha, I'm doing the thing. It's so bad that I only know the like draft commons and uncommon names.
Yep. Yeah, Bob Mythic. No, no.
I don't remember that at all. Basri's Acolyte, like I get pretty close, Into the Royal. How old is Into the Royal?
I think it was reprinted in Zendikar Rising. I think was the most recent
I'm wondering
time we've seen it.
for Magic Online. I will be very interested to see for these like reprinty-ish in-universe cards if they just reprint Into the Royal.
So what's interesting, I think it's going to depend. Like Into the Royal, I think they probably will. I don't think they will actually. More, I'm thinking about it with Banishing Light because Banishing Light's in standard, and theoretically you should be able to play both, like 4 copies of each.
Why?
Right? Because in regular,
Oh,
in paper standard, you should be able to.
you're right. I didn't think about that. I was like, but they make reprints of things that are in standard all the time. But you're right, because one standard would have both and the other standard
Exactly.
would not have both. That is annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think you're right. I think Into the Royal they can, but Banishing Light they absolutely cannot. That makes no sense.
But they still might not in case there's any plan of printing Into the Royal in a few sets or something. Like while this would still be in set, I wonder how they're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they more than know that, especially because these sets are planned out so far in advance. The UB sets are planned way further out in advance than the others, so I think that's something they can certainly see coming. So they could if they know, but I think you're right that they.
That's true, and they could also just rename the card later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. They could just say, okay, well, this is now no longer Into the Royal. This is
Exactly.
Joe's flying ship cow or whatever.
No, this isn't Into the Royal. It's Into the Broil.
Oh man. Okay. I liked Into the Royal 6.
Yep, 6 is good too. Yep, blink of an eye. That's true. That's another version of Into the Royal that we've seen.
All right, that's the end of blue. Yanks, how do you feel about your favorite color? Do you like it?
I like it. It's interesting that the not expecting coming out of white the like massive amount of villains.
I mean, if I had to pick 2 colors to have villains, I think I would put blue tied for second, maybe third place that I would put as a villain archetype.
I think that's definitely fair. I wasn't expecting the quantity in a color that's not usually known for its creatures.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think if you were like, which color is villains, I would say black, red, blue. But if you said which archetype is villains, I think I say Dimir.
That's fair. But is there actually? I think there are
like
2?
Rakdos could be 2, but like
there are only 3
Dimir.
blue creatures that aren't villains.
Yeah, which makes the villain creatures really, really cool.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a fun archetype. Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, like the video. It helps us out a ton. We're trying to get these VOD videos off the ground. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of blue, and check out our next video when we go over all of the black creatures. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye.